Ginger here with I Dream of Crafting. I had some questions from people about the gemstones, so I decided to make a really quick tutorial here on a few of the gems. This video I'm going to be showing you how to make 3 of them. The water marbling is not going to be one of them. I'm sorry, I lost my tools, my equipment for the water marbling. So once I find my equipment, then I will upload a tutorial on how to water marble gems. So keep a lookout for that. It will be coming soon, within probably the next week or so. But this video, I will be showing you how to do 3 things. One, I will be showing you how to do the earrings, or just the little gems. Like I said, you can turn these into rings too. So I will be showing you how to do the little tiny gems, very similar, almost identical to the other ones. I will also be showing you how to do little characters. I'll probably do a ladybug just because that's the one I have here. But if anyone wants to see any other, characters, just leave a request down below and I will get to it. And I will also be showing you how to attach a picture to a gem. So yes, those are the 3 things I will be showing you in this video today. So the supplies you will need for these 3. For the earrings, you will be needing 2 little tiny gems. You can get these at the dollar store. Walmart also has them if you don't have a dollar store near you. But if you do, I would highly suggest getting them at the dollar store because they are very cheap there. So just little gems. They don't come in just clear. You will get some clear in the bag, but they come in all different colors. So these are they're not clear, they're kind of a little yellow, but that's fine. So if you look at my Instagram, I have, what are they? My magnets. There we go. The magnets are actually blue gems that I painted on the back. So it turns out really well. You just have to keep in mind what paint you're using, and the color of your gems. So for the earrings, you will need 2 of these, 2 little ones, top coat, and nail polish, whatever you want to do. And then glitter nail polish if you want to do that as well. So, and then later on you'll need the backings for the earrings if you want to make them into earrings, or whatever you're putting on the back of them. For the little character one, you will need a big gem, once again, dollar store. You need top coat, whatever nail polish you are going to use. I'm going to make a yellow ladybug tonight. And then for the character, you're going to need either toothpicks, or I have dotting tools. I finally found mine. They've been lost for about a year, but I finally found mine. Sorry, my hair is all kinds of. So yes, I will be using dotting tools today, but when I did this one, I didn't have them, so I just used a toothpick. You could also use, I used for the bigger dots, I used the rounded edge of a paintbrush. So really just, experiment and see what you like. So, but toothpicks and toothpicks and paintbrushes work fine. I'm going to try the dotting tools though, see how they work. For the picture, you of course need a picture. I like to get mine out of magazines. Those work the best. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to put this image on here. This is from my calendar from last year, and they're the pictures on the back of the calendar where they where they show you all the pictures that are in the calendar. These are the little tiny ones on the back. So I just cut them all out. I have, if you watched my for sale videos, part 1, you saw I have a lot to do, so I've decided to do that. I have not tried printer paper yet. I have not tried anything else besides this, which is kind of like a hard, kind of like a really thick paper, and magazines. Those are the only 2 things I have tried. I will try printer paper really soon, just to see, how the paper reacts to the top coat. I will not be able to try photographs because I don't have any photographs. If I do come across one, though, I will give it a shot just to see how that paper reacts. But yes, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. So you need a template. You need, not a template, you need a picture that you want to put on the gem, and you need top coat, scissors, and a pen. So for the picture, that's all you need is your gem, the picture, top coat, scissors, and pen. So yes, those are all the supplies you need for these 3 gems. So let's get started. Okay, so just like any other gem, if you've watched my other tutorial on how to make the gems, we are going to start out with top coat. So the one thing I didn't say when I made my other tutorial is when you make these gems, especially when you're making a design, you know, a character like this, on your nail, you're working from the background to the foreground. On these jewels, you're working from the foreground to the background. So you have to think in reverse. So you see I gave my little guy here black eyes. The black eyes, the black for the eyes had to go down first before I put the white. So you have to think in reverse. So the black eyes went first, the black dots went first, then the white dots, then the black dots, then the black and the red went on last. So you have to think in reverse. It takes a minute to get it all straight, but once you do it a few times, it's not a problem. You do it without even really thinking. So just like any of the other gems, you want to put a layer or 2, however, you know, it looks like it needs, of top coat. And this is just going to seal the surface, and it's going to make it all nice and smooth, because you can see this one's a little bit rough, and already the top coat made it smooth. So you want to do a top coat here, which would make sense. If you're working backwards, the last thing you do to your nails is put a top coat. So still the same premise. You're working in reverse pretty much. So for the little gems, I only do 1 coat, unless it looks like it needs another one. But the little gems usually don't need another coat. They usually can do with 1. The big gems I usually do 2 coats of top coat because they just need a little bit more, because their ridges are a little more defined. So yes, I have done 1 coat already. I'm going to let these dry, do a second coat on these, and then I will be back to show you the next step. Okay, so these are still drying. I put a second coat on those. These are ready to go though. The little gems dry faster than the big gems, of course, because they're smaller. So for these, I've decided to do a little chevron pattern. You could, of course, do this either freehanded, or you can cut out strips of tape in a chevron pattern and then just put the tape on. But I have these, so I'm going to use these. These came out of my dotting tool kit. Excuse me. I got this kit from Walmart, like I said, about a year and a half ago. It's been a while. And it came with 3 different little things here. These are just straight lines. These are curved. And then, of course, the chevron pattern. So I'm trying to remember how much this kit was. It might have been like $12 or something like that, which was kind of expensive. It was more than I was thinking it was going to be. But I bought it anyway. And it comes with 2 dotting tools, a big dotting tool and a small dotting tool, which I will be using today. Then it comes with this really thick brush. It comes with a striper, and it comes with a flat brush. So you get 5 brushes, the 3 patterns in it. So if you wanted to invest in that, that is fine. If not, you do not have to. Like I said, you can use toothpicks, skewers. I've seen people use ballpoint pens as dotting tools. When I didn't have those, I just used toothpicks, and it worked perfectly. So, yes. So, I'm going to do a chevron pattern on these. So, it's really simple, especially if you have these patterns. All you're going to do is set down your chevron pattern however you want it to be. And you can do the chevron, or you can do any pattern you want, or just, you know, paint them and then put glitter and you're done, you know. So I'm just gonna place 2 on each one. Sorry if you're hearing the birds. They do like to squawk. Alright, so they should look something like that. Of course, you can look at it from the front and see if you like it. Change it if you don't. But that looks pretty good. So, now, I'm going to use these 2 colors for the chevron. I haven't used these colors yet. In fact, they have been in my room, unbeknownst to me, for probably a year, if not longer. So, I think it's about time I use them. So it's a sea foam and kind of like a dark blue, kind of. I hope it looks good. So, what you generally want to do with like chevron, well, anything really that you're going to be mixing 2 colors, I personally start with the lighter color first, because then the darker color, will boost that little, what do you call it, the, lighter color. So it's really simple. All you do is you paint. I mean, honestly, it's that simple. You just paint on. And don't, you know, go right over the paper. That's what it's there for. There we go. Now on your nails you might wait for it to dry, but on the gems it doesn't work like that. So just as carefully and as quickly as you can get them up. There you go. Now of course if you wanted glitter on yours, you would have put the glitter down first before putting the nail polish. But I'm not going to do glitter for these. I could still do glitter if I wanted glitter just in one, you know, just in those 2 crevices before then I would put the glitter in between those. Actually, just on top. You can just coat. Now that the green is down, you can paint right over the green and it's not going to show through. And then I could put the blue down and the blue would have glitter and the green wouldn't. So that's, you know, honestly, it's all experimentation. You know, if you have an idea, try it. Like I said in my other video, it's just nail polish. If you mess up, if you try something and you don't like it, it's not like you wasted the gem, because all you have to do is take nail polish remover and take it off, and you can reuse the gem. So it's really, that's what I love about these, is there's really no way to screw these up because you can always take it off. It's not like paint where, you know, you mess up and your canvas is ruined. You can reuse it. So I'm gonna let that dry and I will be right back. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes or so, maybe not even, and these are dry. So now all you have to do is take your second color and just paint over it. Like I said before, this is why I like to do light colors on top of the blue, or I'm sorry, the dark color on top of the light color, because the dark color of the blue is going to make this seafoam green pop a little bit better. Woo. So all you have to do is paint over it. That's all you do. You don't want to layer it too thick. Like, I had a lot of paint on this brush. But if you layer it too thick, then you'll get like bumps and ridges on the finished product. So try not to have too much paint polish, because you can always come back in and add more polish if it's not enough. This paint is just really thick. It's a really nice polish, it's just really thick. I'm not used to it. My other polishes that I work with are thinner, so I'm grabbing a bit too much. This one's better. Alright. So, that is what it will look like when it's dry. Those are pretty. I like those. Alright, so those are done. Well, not done, but close to being done. I forgot to say, get a work surface. You see I have cardboard here. You know, work on something. Don't work on just, you know, wood, and don't work on your cutting board if you have a cutting board, because if you spill any paint on the cutting board and then try and wipe it up, you're going to wipe off your markings on your cutting board. I found that out the hard way. So yeah, work on something you don't mind getting paint on. Forgot to say that. So alright, so now that these are completely dry, all there is left to do is seal the back with a top coat. Just like that. I usually do 2 layers of top coat for any nail polish. So yeah. So I'm going to put this on here, I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to put a second coat and it'll be good to go. And then from there you can do whatever you want with it. You could put little magnets on the back, which I have done. I have these magnets here that I use. These little tiny ones. I will try and find where I got them. I got these like 3 years ago, believe it or not, when I first started duct taping. So they've been in my jewelry case for a while. These are rare earth magnets, and they're really small. I think they're like 3 millimeters or something like that. They're the really tiny ones. If I can find them online again, they were really cheap. I will post a link in the bottom, in the description below, but you can always just Google, you know, rare earth magnets or even regular magnets. So for these little tiny ones, of course, you want the really small ones. If you want to turn a big gem into a magnet, you of course will need a bigger magnet to fit. But yeah, so that's all. If you wanted to turn them into earrings, of course you are going to need earrings. I get mine at Walmart, and I can't remember how much I got for them, but they were probably like $2 or $3, and several come in a pack. And I haven't tried to turn them into dangle earrings. I've just done studs for these, and they're really not heavy at all. Like, you would think they might be heavy or awkward, but actually they work really well. Just when putting on the earring blank, try and get the earring blank towards the top of the gem, so that it can kind of hang a little bit below the earlobe. That works the best I've found. Because if you put it in the center, then the earring's going to be like inside your ear. So put the ring blank up towards the top and you'll be good to go. So those are done. We are going to move on to this one. I'm going to leave the design for last. So I try and pick the largest gems I can find, and also the gems that are pretty blemish free. So before you put nail polish on the back of it, I forgot to say that, but before you put any top coat to the back of this, you want to put your gem on your picture however you want. And you're going to need your pen and your scissors. Now don't worry too much about the pen mark, because you're going to be cutting inside the pen mark, so you're not going to see it. So just place your gem so that you like what you see. What you see is what it's going to be. And then you trace around it. Oh, and my pen did not do what I wanted it to do. So let's try that one more time. Now I can spin it like I'm spinning it now because I have the clear polish on it and it's sticking to the paper. But mostly, you know, if you do it without, and you should do it without the clear coat on the back, you just have to, you know, go like this and then go like this without moving it. Alright, so now that that is traced out, you're just going to take this and you're going to cut a little bit inside the line. I would say for your first one, cut on the line, and then very carefully, you know, place your gem on it where you want it to, and then see where you need to cut. For these are a little bit tricky because you don't want them hanging over the edge, but you want them big enough so that you don't have any cracks, you know, where the picture isn't. So it took me a couple of these to figure out how to do them correctly. And to be quite honest, I'm still learning. So, but that's how you learn. You just, you know, you do it over and over and over again, and yeah. Now these are a little bit different with, you know, screwing them up, because if you try and use the acetone or your nail polish remover to, you know, fix these if you mess up, you're gonna ruin your picture. So no pressure, but yeah, you really don't want to mess these up if you can avoid it. So I'm going to put my gem where I want it. Whoopsies. And even though it looks like it may be good, I have a lot of excess. And I know that doesn't seem like a lot, but the clear coat we put on that is not going to hold these down. So you want your edges, it's a fine balance. Like this is okay. This side is pretty much perfect, because it still is in the gem. Like you don't see the gem, you know, through it, but it's on the back of the gem in enough that the clear polish is going to hold that down. So over here though, I have a lot of excess, so I'm going to cut that, and unfortunately you can't really mark it because it's just so close to the gem that you can't get your pen in there, so you're just going to have to whittle away at it until you get what you want. So this is just a lot of, you know, like I said, trial and error. What the easiest thing though is to run your finger along the edge of the gem, and if you don't feel the paper, you're good to go. But if you feel it, whittle away just a little bit more. But like I said, you don't want to whittle away so much that you start seeing the gem. So I need to take off some here. And there was one other place I had to take off. And I'm putting my gem in the same position each time, which is easy with this one because this gem has a little bit of a nick right here. So I'm just lining that nick up on the side of his head every time so that I can get an accurate line. This is really hard to do with the clear polish because it wants to stick every time. So, alright, I just need to take off this just a little bit more here, and it should be good to go. So this is the most time consuming part of this craft, is getting the picture to line up where you need it to be. Because nothing is more frustrating than cutting this out, putting the clear polish on, and then finding out that it's overhanging, and then your picture, you know, you have these ragged edges that are hanging off. So that's pretty good. I think that is going to hold down. So, and once again, just look from the front to make sure you don't really see any gaps, which I don't. So now what you would do when I do these, I usually just do one coat of the clear polish, or the top coat, I mean. So I would just take a raw gem, do my first coat, and then immediately put down my picture. I don't know, I had a brain fart or something and I forgot, but it doesn't matter. But what's going to hold this down is the clear coat. So, just like before, put a clear coat down. And make sure you get all the edges fairly well, because this is your glue. Now I need to find... Okay, I need to find my little blemish. Alright. There we go. And yeah, just place it down. Now, sometimes placing the image down, you'll get air bubbles. So you want to look for those, which you could easily find those by running your nail along the bottom of the image, and if you see anything move, that's an air bubble and you've got to work it out to the side. I actually don't see any in this one. So carefully I'm just pressing straight down, trying not to move the image as much as possible, but I'm just pushing so that it can adhere itself completely into that top coat. And yeah, so I'm just gonna let that dry, and then I will come back in and clear coat the back of it. Okay, so now that this is dry and you can't move it, now all we're going to do is we're going to take some top coat and we're going to go over this. Now, since this is a calendar, some of them have writing on the back of it from my Sharpie. If you have any, like, ink on it, it's going to smear. I'm just warning you now. But any ink, like if you're using a magazine, it'll be fine. So it's just like Sharpie and pen that's going to, smear on you, just to give you a heads up. So for these pictures, you're going to go through a lot of top coat for these, just to warn you. Because this top coat is the only thing holding this down. So if you wanted to, you can do, glue, like an E6000 or something like that. That would be kind of hard to apply though. And I haven't had any problems with the top coat actually. I've done several of these. Let's see, I've done probably 10 of them at least. And I've never had them pull up on me or anything. So yeah, I think the top coat works really, really well. So all you're going to do is you're going to add at least 3, if not 4 layers of top coat on top of this, making sure to get the edges every single time. And that's going to build up a nice solid cover for this picture so that it doesn't fall off or anything. And that's all that is to it. I won't film the rest of this because it's just more of the same of what you saw me do. So just, put it on, let it dry, and then put 2, at least 3, maybe 4 coats. I usually go 3. It depends on the picture. But yeah, so that is how you do a picture gemstone. Okay, so as I stated before, you're going to want to work from the inside out whenever you're doing something like this. So I'm going to leave this right here as a reference so you guys can follow along. I forgot to mention that for anything like this that you're doing with dotting tools or toothpicks or anything like that, you're going to want somewhere to put your paint so that you can, put paint on here, kind of like a palette. Do not use styrofoam bowls or plates. The nail polish will start to eat through the styrofoam. I learned that the hard way. Also, don't use paper towels or napkins. They'll soak up the paint, and yeah. So the best I found is these heavy-duty paper plates, that you would get for Christmas or anything like that. Or pretty much any paper plate would work. If you're in a pinch, you can probably just use, any paper. But but the thinner, just know the thinner the paper, the quicker your nail polish is going to dry. I could even do it on this cardboard, but I don't want to mess up the cardboard too much. So yes, we're going to take our gem here. And so we got to work from the inside out. So the first thing I need to do are the dots. So the black dots and the black for his eyes. So just take your paint and put some on your work surface. You're also going to need some acetone or nail polish remover. I highly recommend acetone. Personally, it works the best and it works the fastest. And especially for here, if you're not going to put on, you're not going to use it on your nails. I personally do. I love acetone. I don't use nail polish remover, which nail polish remover is just acetone watered down with water. So, but I use pure acetone even on my nails. I haven't had a problem, but it's completely up to you. For this application though, acetone is wonderful because it'll take off anything, any paint that is on here if you mess it up. So you will get a completely crystal clear work surface again if you mess it up. So I have mine just in a little medicine cup here. It works beautifully. The acetone will not harm that medicine cup at all, and you can use it over and over and over again. I've had this medicine cup for months now, and I'll probably just keep using it. It's not going to degrade or anything. So for the eyes, first you got to look at your gem and figure out which way you want it. This one's round, so it really doesn't matter. So for this though, you gotta pretty much draw an invisible line in your head where you want the wings to be, and then where you want the eyes to be. So just dot your smallest dotting tool in the black polish, and there you go. Always flip it over to make sure everything is in the line. As you can see, those little tiny dots get magnified through the gem because the gem is convex, so it magnifies whatever you put on the back. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your eyes. And this one's a little small. There we go. Now they're the same size. So yes, so there are his eyes. Just going to clean my tool here because I will be using this little one again very shortly. Plus you always want to, clean your tools. Alright, so now I'm going to take my big dotting tool. Once again, toothpicks, the backside of a paintbrush, ballpoint pen I've seen people use. Get creative if you don't have dotting tools or you don't want to spend money for dotting tools. I completely understand if you don't. So yes, we're just going to dot in here. And I like to go along the outside first. Keep in mind your wing shape. And then I go along that invisible line of mine. And then I just fill in. And there's one side. I'm gonna flip it over. You don't have to flip it, but I like flipping it. Just do the same thing on this side. Alright. So you can do about 2 dots before your paint starts running out. So every 2 dots you're going to have to go back and get more. But you saw I did that pretty quick, but by all means take your time, put it exactly where you want it. And if you screw up, you screw up, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Just, take it off with some acetone and you're good to go. So, we're going to let this dry just a little bit. well, you want everything dry, of course, but the two eyes by now are dry because they're just tiny little things. So I'm going to take a white polish and I'm going to use white for, of course, the whites of his eyes, but I'm also going to use white for his little antenna. So I'm going to take my big dotting tool and I'm going to line it up as best I can to completely cover his eyes. So there you go. And that was completely by accident. You see I have some white on the inside of the black eyes. I like that, but I did not do that on purpose. So the paint must have not been completely dry, or I pushed too hard, or a combination of the two, but I actually love how that turned out. So, ooh, that was fun. So now that we have his little eyes, his antenna, so I did I did 3. And this last one up here, I'm going to do probably a little tiny one. So once again, just come back in with your white polish. 1, 2. 1, 2. And then I'm going to use this tiny one to finish it off. There we go. I'm going to make them just a tiny bit better. There we go. Alright, so there it is. Now we just have to add some color. But for that you really want to wait. Now what you could do is you can wait for it to dry and then you can seal what you have already with top coat. That way you are guaranteed not to screw up any of your design, unless you don't wait long enough and the top coat will smear it anyway. I will probably do that just because I like that little bit of, you know, guarantee there. But you don't have to. You can just wait for it to completely dry. So what we're going to do now is, if you think of a ladybug, once we're letting this dry, if you think of a ladybug, the wings lay on top of the body. So if you're working backwards, you want the wings to go on first. So we're going to put the color on first, and then we're going to fill in the middle part with the black. So that's how that's going to go. So I'm going to let this dry. I'm going to add some top coat on top of it to seal it, and then I will be back to show you how to finish off the ladybug. Alright, so now that the top coat is dry, we're going to start with our color. So this can get a little tricky. As you can see here, you just want the color to go where your spots are. So this can get a little tricky. So I like to start in the middle first and then very carefully brush to the side and then hit the side over here, the edge of the gem, and then turn it over and see, and that is not bad at all. So we're going to do the same over here. With a light color like yellow, I'm going to have to do probably 2 coats. With red, I think I only did 1 coat of red. So it all depends on how you want your gem to look, though. I will most likely do, I'll do a 2nd coat. There we go. And there we go, it's coming right along. So I'm going to let that color dry, and then I'm going to do a 2nd coat, and I will be back to show you how to finish it up. Okay, so now that your color is dry, or at least mostly dry, it doesn't have to be completely dry, it just has to be dry enough so that the colors won't run together. You're just going to take your black polish now, and you're going to fill in between the color. And make sure you get this side, the edges of the gem. And you see I dripped a little bit, but that doesn't matter because it's on the other side. And always, you know, turn it around and look. And there it is. Oh, that's so cute. So, yes, I'm just going to let this dry and seal it with some top coat. Okay, so now that this is dry, I'm just going to add some top coat to it. Like I said before, for nail polish like this, where it's not a picture but it's actually nail polish, I do 2 coats of the clear polish just to make sure everything's sealed, and 2 coats will give you a nice smooth background, like feel. So I'm gonna let that dry and add another coat, and that'll be done. Alright everyone, so we have reached the end of our tutorial. Here is what we made today. We made these really cool chevron earrings or magnets, whatever you wish to turn them into. We also did a Iron Man picture gemstone, and then we did our cute little ladybug. How adorable is that? And I also did another one off camera, so orange. So, like I said, you can turn these into magnets. The big ones you can turn into keychains, rings. Oh, well, these could be turned into rings too. Necklaces, keychains, rings, magnets, or just knickknacks to put around, a room, or, give as gifts. So, yeah, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. If you have any requests, like if you want, a different kind of animal, or, starfish or something. If you want to see, if you want to see a different design, just let me know. My best advice to you for these, though, is just be creative. Try things that you think might work, and if they don't work, then they don't work. You just take it off with acetone or nail polish remover, and you try again. So that's the great thing about these is there's really no way to screw it up, because you can always take it off and redo it. So yes, so comments, questions, and requests down below. Make sure you subscribe. Once I find my equipment, I will be uploading a tutorial on how to water marble. So that'll be interesting and fun, and I hope you enjoy that. I am hoping to get that up in the next week, so subscribe so you don't miss that. And yeah, so I will see you in the next video.